Hey, it's your girl Claudia Jordan. Happy Friday. We are back with TGIF. We're here to spill the tea and break down the biggest headlines in the news and on social media. So sit back, relax, and get ready for this hot tea. What's up, fellas? Hello, Al.
What's going on, Claudia?
I'm trying to get better. I'm still struggling. And what's up, Funky?
What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. And when I tell you this has been one of the longest Fridays I've experienced in a very long time. And I can't wait for us to get off work so I can indulge in all the Hennessy tonight. I need all the Hennessy.
Hey, is it my fault that we're sitting here today?
Yes. Yes. You gotta give me one. You owe me one. You owe me one when I need it. You owe me one, damn it. I wish I was off after this. Tonight's my last night on the movie. I'm gonna send you guys a picture and from set. I want you to see it. I have a night shoot. So sometimes like you see horror films, they shoot at night. I have to report to set at 11 p.m. Damn. So that means all through the night. So it's gonna be a rough one. And LA gets extremely cold at night. And I'm already struggling. So pray for me, y'all. It's gonna be tough. So all right. Are we drinking this weekend tonight? What are we doing?
I'm not drinking tonight because it's Art Basel weekend in Miami, and everybody and their mama from Atlanta, New York, and LA has come in town. They're calling me about all the parties and brunches and exhibits that they want to go to this weekend. I was hoping Al would have been down here this weekend so we could have tore the streets up in Miami. So I'm drinking Florida's finest H2O tonight.
You know, I might see you Sunday.
Oh, good, because Sunday is the day I'm free, so that's going to be real cute.
Yeah, cool. So I'm drinking tequila because they don't have my buttery Chardonnay here and Riviera Maya. So I'm drinking some mezcal. Ooh.
How many more days do you have to be there? What do you
I'm here this Sunday.
Okay. Oh, I could use a vacation. Well, I know y'all going to clown me saying I'm using the mouthwash cups, but I'm drinking tea from the hotel room. So that's it for me tonight. All right, y'all. We have a lot to talk about tonight on this fine Friday, so let's get into the show. It's the holiday season, so let's kick off the show with some feel-good news. The CEO of Kodak Skincare, Brittany Ricard, surprised the tenants in the apartment complex that she owns with free rent for the month of December. Oh, that's amazing. What are your thoughts on this incredible gesture? Q? What do you think?
You know what? This is amazing, especially for families that are, living paycheck to paycheck. I know a lot of people spend on, let me be very honest with you. The Christmas hustle for a lot of people is they pay rent December, they spend Christmas, they don't pay rent in January, don't pay rent in February, and by the time they're about to get evicted, they get in their income taxes so they could catch up on their rent. There's a lot of people that's their every year hustle for whatever reason. Not saying that this is what her tenants are going to do, but not having to pay rent for the month of December in order to accommodate Christmas is amazing for a lot of people, especially when, all you need is just a few extra $100 to help you get through your Christmas hump. So this is beautiful. And I know that it's definitely going to help these people out. You could see a lot of people in the room were super excited. And I don't know if you guys heard the speech that she gave, but she lured the people into the room by telling them that she was going to be giving them utility vouchers. You know what I'm saying? And so, just using my deductive reasoning skills, people who are interested in utility vouchers or whatever, they're at a certain income level and they need it. So this is a big help to these families, and shouts out to her for taking a hit in her own pocket, because she didn't have to do it in order to bring some Christmas joy to these families.
Yeah, exactly. Al, what do you think?
Claudia, this is the type of stories that I would like to do more on this platform. And it makes me very proud to be on a platform like Fox Soul that celebrates Black people, successful Black women and men. And we cover this type of story because you're not going to see these type of stories on the mainstream platforms. The fact that she's a multimillionaire, we know that she runs $1 million fund. We know that she's a landlord, and we know that she's giving back. And in addition to giving back and giving utility vouchers, she's also told them that she wants to teach them how to get their credit right so that they can become homeowners. She wants to progress them out of the rental stage into one of home ownership. And I just thought that just made a lot of sense to me. And like you said, it's done at a time when most people find themselves robbing from Peter to pay Paul. So this just automatically makes sense, and I'm here for it. Thumbs up to Brittany Ricard, right? Ricard.
I love these kinds of stories. You ever watch Undercover Boss, that show?
Yeah, I have before in the past.
I watch those marathons and I am in my house alone just crying because I just love when good people get it or just people don't expect it and they get it. Imagine you're like trying to make ends meet. It's Christmas. You're kind of compromising on Christmas. Oh, I can't really do this. I can't do that. And then your entire rent gets paid for by this woman. Like that, kudos to her. I think this is a beautiful story. I hope it inspires other people to do the same. You know, right now we've never had such high discrepancies between the top of the company and the worker. So kudos to her. I love it. All right, moving on to messy news. Cameron recently dragged Melissa Ford after she implied that he allegedly had sex with minor age sex workers in the 90s. Cameron replied to the allegations and wrote, "I told the bleep, don't touch me when we took this pic. Bleep you and bleep your apology. Stay strong and stand on business. We just busy at the moment. We'll get to you soon, boo." He also added, "Nothing violent before you accuse us of more than that bleep that's inaccurate." What are your thoughts on this mess? Al, let's go to you first.
Where was the picture, Claudia? That's the tea. Was that recently?
It was a red. I think it's a while back. It was a red carpet event. Yeah.
Okay, so they have bad blood already, right? Is that what I'm understanding? You're saying
No.
Don't touch me in that picture?
I think he's just saying that now, like, you know, being funny.
Oh, okay, got it. So anyway,
Yeah,
I looked at this. I saw this, and I saw this clip before I looked at Cameron's response. And I got to be honest, Melissa, you're better than this. I mean, this felt very negligent. It felt sloppy. It felt very dangerous given the climate that we're in, especially in hip hop and with black males in the music industry. It felt clickbait-ish to me. And I know that she's smarter than this. I was actually also extremely disappointed because you're speaking in a space that is very explosive right now where people are throwing around millions and millions of dollars of lawsuits. And I just felt like it was irresponsible on so many levels. Not only in that, but you're also on one of the best or largest male, all black men, male platforms speaking like this. I don't know. It just didn't hit me right. And I feel like she not only just owes him an apology, but she's got to do better.
All right. Q, what do you think?
It wasn't cool at all. And let's call a spade a spade. Coming off of this puffy stuff, it just wasn't cool. And it kind of feels like the puffy stuff is what led her in this direction. If you were not prepared to say, I was there, I was on set when, I remember, oftentimes, Claudia, how you say, oh, my friend and I remember, or a friend and I were talking. If you were not ready to give a first or secondhand account of this, what was the reason that you just arbitrarily threw this out and made this connection between them and the potential of it being an underage girl involved? And if there was, and you know more, then you owe it to them and us to say it. If not, this was completely reckless, out of left field. And like Al said, you're better than that, Melissa.
Melissa Ford is a very articulate woman. She has a very wide vocabulary. She has a very good grasp of vocabulary, and she speaks very clearly. I just think she's in over her head with those guys over there. Now, I will say this. There is a difference. She is getting accused of saying that they were with an underage girl. That's not what she said. But what she said was just as damaging in these times. She said, well, is there a possibility that underage girls could have been in that brothel? Maybe, Melissa, but like you said, if you don't have any proof of that, I don't know. You bring that up is the average person that doesn't listen to the entire podcast, word for word, all they hear is you tying them to underage girls. Now, if you know something, say it. If you don't, why it was an unforced error for Melissa Ford. It was a really unforced error that maybe have that hypothetical conversation after or before, but independent of you talking about Mason Cameron, because it definitely is giving that, even though that's not what you said. I get it. You didn't say that they were messing with underage girls. You said they could have been in the brothel. That has nothing to do with them, though.
What did you mean by she's over her head in that podcast? I'm sorry.
Well, it's one girl with like a group of guys that are very like they run circles sometimes. Sometimes they run circles around her. And in this case, and I think sometimes, you know, you get frustrated when it's a lot of male energy around you and you're one woman trying to take up for you have the whole black female race species on top of your back and you're scrambling, and the more stress you get, I've had that with us sometimes. You scramble and then you maybe say something, right? I think she's in over her head sometimes with that podcast. I really do. Because those guys, they're all boys. They have that camaraderie. And listen, and they also asked her if she wanted them to edit it out. And she said no. So it was
intentional. It was intentional.
So Joe tried to Joe's credit, he did try to give her a lifeline and save her. And she said no, because I don't think she realized how big of a deal it was. And then when it blew up the next day, then you heard Cameron respond with spilling her tea about, you know, other stuff with tea. Not hot tea, but iced tea. I don't know if y'all heard that. If not, y'all can look it up. All right, Cassie's friend, Grammy-winning songwriter Tiffany Red penned an emotional letter to Diddy in support of Cassie's abuse claims. Tiffany wrote, "I am traumatized by you. The burden of vocalizing these experiences should never have been mine or anyone else's. I continue to work through the PTSD, paranoia, and anxiety from these events. Your abuse of power has inflicted ongoing harm on countless individuals, including myself, my friends, and my peers." What are your thoughts on this letter, Q?
You know, I think everybody involved in this Cassie situation and everybody who's on the peripheral that's involved, you know, they have the right to speak out and say whatever they want to say. Me personally, I hope for Diddy's sake that any allegations moving forward are not any more heinous than what was laid out in Cassie's court complaint. With that being said, I think we've reached the bottom as far as how bad it's going to get for Puffy. I think I honestly do think Cassie's claims were the absolute bottom. With that being said, me personally, I'm ready for this Cassie and Diddy thing to be put to bed. I'm kind of tired of hearing about it, especially because per Cassie's request, Cassie has been made whole. Per what Cassie was asking for to be made whole, she was given. So I'm ready for it to be put to rest. But I do understand that everybody involved does have the right to express whatever they need to express to get through whatever they need to get through as it relates to Diddy and his abuse.
All right, Al, what do you think?
I'm going to disagree with Funky on that one. Now, let me preference what I'm going to say first. Like, Diddy, if he did all the things that they say he has done, it's absolutely horrible. He should go to jail. In fact, he should be put underneath the jail. And you guys know, I also want to preference that I always stand with the victims at all time. And here on TGIF, you've watched me talk about situations like this, and I'm always in support of the victim. Victims, to me, have a voice until they're proven wrong. As it relates to this, I'm going to take the same stance I did last night with Alex Fine, who's Cassie's husband. I can't stand the fact that this feels like, to me, it's opportunistic. It feels like you're taking advantage of, and you're trying to monetize Cassie's trauma, and I don't like it. Where you talk about how bad it was and how you had PTSD from it, but you're a dollar too short, or whatever the saying is. And I just feel like when people start piling on after the fact, it just doesn't seem, or it doesn't hit right for me. That's my personal opinion. Stay out of the chat, because it seems like, to me, you just want a voice in a space that you haven't had a voice in a long time, and that's in the pop culture space. I don't like it. I feel like she's taking advantage of the situation, and if anybody, she wouldn't be the person that I want to hear from.
I'm going to disagree with you. You disagree with Funky. I'm disagreeing with you. I think that I've been watching these videos all day. That's all I've been doing all day about this case. if you had to hold your best friend's secrets because she asked you not to say anything and you witnessed the abuse and then you finally were given permission, I'd probably want to like say something to publicly support my friend, like kind of co-sign, you know. Y'all know I had a friend that was raped by a celebrity, and I've mentioned many times on the show. And while we were going through it, I couldn't really do much. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't defend my friend. I just had to like take it and just like watch people say horrible things about my friend. And then once she was vindicated, she didn't ask me to do anything. But as a friend, I wanted to. I wanted to show publicly like, yo, I have your back. And there was no money involved. Everybody thinks it's monetization. It's not money involved. I made no money. And that was the biggest celebrity case for a long time, you know? There's no money involved. I just wanted my friend to know that as loudly as people were against her, I have her back now. And I wasn't able to say anything at the time. So I don't know. There's different ways to look at it. And if you're involved, you probably have your own level of trauma involved in this and things you need to get over. And I just think it's an easy thing to say things from outside. And as opposed to when you actually have a friend and you see them whimpering in their sleep, when you go to the clinic with them and when they get, you know, checked, when they have therapy, when they want to commit suicide, when you have to hear all these awful things. I just want people to just be a little open-minded about what real victimhood is, you know? That's all. All right, coming up next, the state of Florida continues to disappoint our country. And later we have a new celebrity couple alert. Stay tuned.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Stories that we're going to cover come from around the world, around the country. Some of them will warm your heart. Some of them will make you good and mad.
McMillan and Morrow.
There's been an uptick in fights at Disney World.
That's because it's hard to be happy in Florida right now.
Every Thursday night.
Yeah, and you're having a great night at Disney World's Epcot.
How you gonna ban Black history? Here are people go through 400 years of suffering and work themselves to the place where they can become the leader of the free world. That ain't no educational value. I'm fired up.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Welcome back to TGIF Soulmates. We are live and we will read some of your comments during the show. I see y'all in the chat trying to figure things out. We here. All right, whether good, bad, ugly, or just plain dumb, the tea is always overflowing with crazy news stories out of the state of Florida. That's why we're giving you the 411 in What the Florida. Our y'all, Florida man was arrested on a charge of domestic battery after striking his brother in the face with a sausage. 60-year-old Ray Allen and his older sibling were arguing when he threw the heavy meat at his face. Go ahead, Funky.
First of all, Ray Allen is a cute 60-year-old man. Production, what's that picture? Ray was something to be messed with when he was younger. The question I have was the meat flaccid or was it hard? Hard as in frozen or was it thawed out?
Here we go. Here we
If
go.
it was thawed out, it was useless. Okay, and that was a waste of a call to the police department. But if it was hard, if it was solid as a rock, you know what I'm saying? Then that thing could have hurt it. It could have hurted his brother bad, and then that could have been abuse. So before I really weigh in, I'm gonna have to find out if it was flaccid or if it was hard, that meat that he threw in that brother's face.
Al, our facts guy, do you know if it was hard or if it was soft?
They didn't give any facts on this one. I wanted to know if it was spicy or if it was regular sausage, because if it was spicy sausage, it's very like wet and stings, and that I could see getting in a fight on because it hit him in his face. So I don't know. I try not to get into siblings when they're arguing and fighting, because we all argue and fight with our siblings.
So we made the sausage wet and hard and flat. Okay. I knew we weren't, again, a lot of the production knows. There's just certain stories we're not emotionally mature enough for, and we're going to move on. There we go. Go ahead and put the picture back up. Yes, thank you.
Oh, he's so handsome.
Okay. In other assault news, a Florida woman allegedly attacked a couple with a bottle of wine after they refused to pay for her wine. Apparently, the woman placed her wine bottle with the couple's order, and they paid for it by mistake. After realizing the confusion, the couple demanded a refund, which allegedly prompted the woman to ask, "Why can't you just pay for my bottle of wine?" What are your thoughts?
Unfortunately, I can't even come to her defense, because the wig, the texture, and the positioning of it all suggest that she crazy as hell, and she did it. I can't. She
Production,
did
go ahead,
it.
production. Go ahead, production. Put it back up. Go ahead.
She did it. And what's unfortunate is when they describe how brutal the attack was, it's like, damn. First of all, the wig is giving mental illness. The positioning of the wig is giving mental illness. The forehead's diameter is giving mental illness. Then when they describe how she cracked the man over the head and then waited on Uber. And then what's so funny, waited on Uber, and then I don't know what all the hell she said to the Uber people, because the Uber people refused to drive off from the Wawa. She ultimately had to walk on foot. This is definitely a crazy Florida story, and I'm just going to have to blame this on the wig and DeSantis.
I was waiting. You didn't mention DeSantis. I was waiting.
Blame it on DeSantis.
Okay. DeSantis policy strike again. Al, is this DeSantis?
I agree with Funky on this one. She did. This is a time when she deserves to be locked up. And also, it's funny, the couple that she attacked aren't the ones that pressed charges. It was actually the police who pressed charges, and they had a reason to. She's just not healthy.
Over a bottle of wine. How much was the wine?
It was in the gas station, so it couldn't have been no more than $9.
$7? What are we talking about, people, when we go to jail and lose our freedom over $7 gas station wine? You're going to have a headache the next day. Like, it's really, lady. Rapper, speaking of Florida, rapper Kodak Black was I just know this isn't going to end well. I just know it's not going to end well. Florida and Kodak Black was arrested due to possession of cocaine. According to the reports, officers spotted his SUV in the roadway and found the rapper asleep in the driver's seat. What are your thoughts? Well, my thought is I thought he was still in jail. I didn't know he was out.
They lied on him.
He's been out for a minute.
First of all, they lied on him. And I'm going to tell you, they lied on him.
Okay.
Production, put that picture back up.
Okay. That's an old picture.
Look how wide open his eyes is, okay? Cocaine don't make you go to sleep. Cocaine wake you up. And in that picture, he was still high. So this how he innocent. This the one time I'm gonna have to ride for Kodak Black. He innocent because the mug shot is not consistent with the report. Okay, cocaine take you up, not down, and it's no way in hell somebody's eyes that were that bugged out in that mug shot was sleep in that car. And if you want to hear more about how I feel about this Kodak Black situation, you can go to my Instagram, because this was my funky file on Hot 105 here today in Miami. Because Kodak Black is from South Florida, he got arrested in Plantation, and our station here, that neighborhood is within our listening radius. You can hear more of my thoughts on my Instagram. You go check it out. But the mugshot is inconsistent with the report, and I don't think we should charge. Look at that. Look at that.
That picture looks mad.
Do that look like somebody who was asleep?
It don't even look like Kodak Black. It looks like a high school picture of him. It don't even look like him. Al, what you think about this?
You know what? He just got pardoned from the president, for goodness sakes, and he's so young. He's 26. Doesn't he know that the next president isn't going to pardon him? But let me tell you where this is super sad for me. This is super sad for me because we've been watching him on the blogs the last few months, and he just has not been well. He's been disheveled. He's been what appears to be, on some type of substance. And I think when do the record labels step in? Or do they not care as long as they're making money? So this one, I'm a little bit torn. We know that he's got some issues. He's been dealing with drugs for a long time. He got pardoned from the president. I just wish the record labels would be more socially conscious when it comes to him and help him out instead of exploiting him.
These record labels got insurance policies on these rappers, so they live or they die. They are good. They probably get more money when they die or when they die.
And, I think it's worth pointing out, too, back in the 90s, when they had artist development and you put so much into an artist, you had so much writing on them. You were invested. Right. Artists now are so microwavable and ready. The labels aren't invested. Like Claudia said, they've got policies. And then hell, we'll just boot him out and just get somebody else who's going to rap about lean, popping pills, not using condoms and everything else between him and Sexy Red. So there's no reason to be invested, but we'll just find another ignorant Negro in the projects and prop them up.
And if y'all don't think this isn't an obvious plan, I used to think these are all conspiracy theories from the powers that be to program our youth and make them be F-boys and whores. It's so obvious what gets rewarded now. There's no conscious rap anywhere. It's all live like me, do this, mess up. They love it. Why would they stop it? All right. A man who is known as the Florida Joker is calling out the video game Grand Theft Auto for using his appearance. Check this out.
Florida Joker, Miami Joker. You might have seen that character on GTA 6. Just dropped the trailer today. You know they got that character with the face tattoos. You know who they got that inspired by? By me. GTA, we at the top.
Oh my God. Like, I just felt like his appearance, like, pit of my stomach is like, oh. What are your thoughts on this guy? Okay.
They owe him a check. They owe him a check. They owe him a check. They modified it enough. They modified it enough to be like, it ain't the same. But you don't just come up with that character on your own volition. You don't. They owe him a check.
Oh, he looks so bad. Al?
I agree with Punky. And look, it's based off of his image and his likeness. This is one of the most highly anticipated games coming out soon. And the last game that was produced by Grand Theft Auto generated $8.3 billion. They got the money. Pay the man. Run him his money. Run him his money.
I wonder how often this stuff happens, especially with the whole AI thing. I think we're going to probably see more things like this. And that's why part of the strike, the actor strike, was a big part of it was this whole using people's images. All right, coming up next, we have a new celebrity couple in Hollywood. And later, rapper Fat Joe is spilling some tea about hip hop music. Keep it locked.
Stories that we're going to cover come from around the world, around the country. Some of them will warm your heart. Some of them will make you good and mad.
McMillan and Morrow.
There's been an uptick in fights at Disney World.
That's because it's hard to be happy in Florida right now.
Every Thursday night.
Yeah, and you're having a great night at Disney World's Epcot.
How you gonna ban Black history? Here are people go through 400 years of suffering and work themselves to the place where they can become the leader of the free world. That ain't no educational value. I'm fired up.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Worried about your friend but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR. It's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
I don't want to jump you, but you don't even qualify to speak on this. So
I can good.
TGIF, live and interactive.
I need to clear this up, y'all. You are one of the main ones trying to push the narrative that your girl can't cook. Al has been in my house. I can cook.
I'm finna test you out right here. What are acceptable types of smoked meat to put in the collard greens?
Turkey necks.
Oh?
Don't do me.
On Fox Soul.
Don't you do me. Don't try it. All right, welcome back to the show. We have a new couple that's officially taking over cuffing season. Black Panther star Lupita Nyong'o and Dawson's Creek alum Joshua Jackson have finally confirmed their rumored relationship after the two were spotted holding hands while taking a stroll. Are you guys here for this new relationship? Al, I know you're all about black love. This is half black love. What do you think?
Half black love, yeah. Well, sorry. You know what? I missed the TikToks and the Instagram videos her and her other boyfriend used to make. They used to be so cute together, the black guy. But I'm not mad at this relationship. She's with Joshua, and we know Joshua has a long history of dating black women. So we know that he's going to definitely take care of his black queen. But this is my question, Claudia and Q. You know, when a guy, especially a non-black guy, and all he dates are black women, well, I guess this is a question for Claudia more than anything. Does that spark any type of concern in your head, or does it make you feel some kind of way if all you know that he has dated in the past are black women?
Sometimes, if it's his preference, that's one thing. But just like when you have black men that only date white women and shun his own, I would look at him sideways too. But it does get more celebrated when it's a white man dating black women in our society, unfortunately. Yeah, it depends on, if he's more attracted to that. But does he have an issue with white women? I don't know. And sometimes white men that are rich, it's like a status thing. Like, I must have a big one or a lot of money if I'm able to handle or tame a black woman. Some people have that fetish thing, but if it's not a fetish thing and he truly just loves what they look like and what they bring, the culture, that's, I guess.
Did you say tame?
Yeah, because historically they've always looked at black women as something to tame, like we're these wild sexual beasts. You know what I mean? Like even going back to slavery, that's how they would look at black women. Yeah, tame. Yeah, but good luck with that. Q, what do you think?
To answer Al's question, I unequivocally think that there is something wrong when you're not attracted to people that look like you. Unequivocally and unapologetically, I think there is something wrong, negatively wrong, or wrong means negative. I think there's something wrong when you are not attracted to people that looks like you. And to Claudia's point, it's celebrated in this context because in America, for whatever reason, the black woman in many settings is considered to be at the bottom of the totem pole, and the white man is at the highest rung of the totem pole. So in this instance, it's celebrated because it's like, ooh, the white man actually wanted the black girl. But if it was the other way around, if it was a black man right now only dating a white woman, only having a history of dating white women, we would have everything in the world negative to say in this situation. Now, listen, color, history aside, I'm an advocate of love, right? And, with Lupita being of African, upbringing and not necessarily African-American upbringing, her relation to race relations in America, her psychological programming to race in America might be slightly different than ours. You know what I'm saying? I think with her association with Black Panther, for me, my gut response was like, oh, I wasn't expecting Lupita to be with a white man, because right now the biggest role in her life was Black Panther, and that was the whole Black empowerment thing. And this is completely different than that. But I will say, based on Jodie Turner, who this gentleman dated before, I think Turner's her last name, the similarities between her and Lupita, and just him overall being a nice guy, I'm relatively comfortable with this, but it did make my shoulder itch a little bit right here when I first saw it.
And I know we got to move on, but one last thing about, I think, why it's a little more celebrated with, like, I know people be like, if there was a Black man with a white woman, in America, the ratio is so bad as far as the available pool of Black men to choose from. There's way more women, period. And then as far as availability, so we're constantly told that we're never going to get married. Only 35% of us are going to get married. So, it's like a lot of times Black women start dating white men out of necessity, because if they didn't, they'd have nobody. The numbers are definitely not skewed in our favor at all. So
we got some cute comments over here. So Sam Cook said, I just feel like he be making her call him master. King Alchemist said, it's a preference. It's only weird when it's really a fetish or a fantasy. And Jesse said, he did date a white woman for like 10 years. And lastly, Tammy Vine said, shortage of Black men relationship-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends are at that point now. They're like, I'm sick of it. It's just so hard. Black men, it's just really hard with them. And then a lot of them don't want to get married because they don't feel like they have to. Have y'all dated? I know you've dated interracially funky. Al,
Yeah, I have.
Okay. All right. Any issues with it?
I haven't had any issues, but I can honestly say the connection hasn't been as strong. The connection that I've had with people who weren't Black, just the connection just hasn't been as strong.
I did once in college, and it was so weird for me because my friends know how like pro-Black I am. And it was his people that made me feel weird. And I felt very uncomfortable walking to a Knicks game holding hands with him. I dropped his hand when we walked by a group of Black men because I didn't want to get called a sellout. Is that messed up?
That's realistic.
It's realistic. I felt uncomfortable. And then his friends would say stuff like, what kind of family does she come from? Do they have money? Like, is she using you? I'm like, what? You're a stockbroker. You're not a millionaire. You're doing well. It made me uncomfortable. And it's worth it if you love someone. If you're not fully invested, it is not worth the drama that goes along with it. It was just too damn hard. It was too hard with other people. All right. A woman who was allegedly attempting to burn down Martin Luther King Jr.'s childhood home in Atlanta has now been identified. Oh, my God. 26-year-old Lanisha Chantrice Henderson has been charged with arson in the second degree and interfering with government property. According to the father of the suspect, Lanisha is a veteran and was having a mental health episode. What are your thoughts on the story, Alex? Go to you first.
I mean, mental health is a big problem nowadays. It's just so sad to know that she was only 26 years old. She was a veteran. My question, though, is why the MLK house? Like, what made her choose that target? Like, is there something going on against Black people, or is it something going on against her Blackness that she felt that she had to transfer to burning down our icon's old house? Like, what was going through her head that she chose that particular establishment to try to burn down?
And when did you get when was this diagnosed? Was it before she was approved to go into the service? Was she in a war? Like what I need to know more, because are we just letting people like this that have this capacity just in the military? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and handle weaponry, or did this happen? Because she's 26, so I'm thinking, what war was she a part of? Was she in Afghanistan? I think she's a little young. I don't know. Q, what do you think about this?
You know what? In this particular situation, I have all the compassion in the world for this girl. And I'm actually glad that she did not get to the point where she either struck a match or flicked a lighter, for two reasons. The way that she doused that house, it would have gone up in flames very quickly, although there is a fire station about 4 blocks away from there, because I used to live off Edgewood Avenue, which is one street over from Auburn Avenue, where this house is. Secondly, the way she's throwing that gas, I'm sure she caught a lot of backsplash of gasoline on her. And if she would have lit a match or any type of flame, she would have caught fire as well. So praise the Lord that she did not get to the point where she was able to strike a match, because in addition to losing that home and damaging that home, we would have lost Letitia.
Is everyone having mental health issues? It's like every day. Every day.
But look at the world we live in, yeah.
But it's like, so the majority, it seems like the majority, right? And not the minority. It's not a exception to the rule. It's like the majority. It's on flights, it's at gas stations and restaurants, and it's in clubs, it's everywhere. It's every single day. And I wonder how much of it is real mental health, not disputing hers, and how much is excuses for jacked up behavior. Because you put that mental health card down, you're going to get a pass, and we have to be empathetic to you, right? Because she's having an episode or he's having an episode. Are y'all tired? I'm tired.
Yeah, I am, Claudia, but I some of the absurd behavior that we've been witnessing, I'm with the really absurd behavior. I definitely think is mental illness. Anthony GT said, obviously something is wrong with her if she did it in broad daylight. And Sean T says, the new thing is to commit a crime than crime mental illness. Sick of people abusing this. I definitely think hers was real mental illness, though.
Okay, yeah, okay. We'll keep it locked, because coming up next, Fat Joe gets candid about rap lyrics and later find out the key to living over 100 years. Oh, Lord, keep it locked.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
I don't want to jump you, but you don't even qualify to speak on this. So
I think good.
TGIF, live and interactive.
I need to clear this up, y'all. You are one of the main ones trying to push the narrative that your girl can't cook. Al has been in my house. I can cook.
I'm finna test you out right here. What are acceptable types of smoked meat to put in the collard greens?
Turkey necks.
Oh?
Don't do me.
On Fox Soul.
Don't you do me. Don't try it.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
My mom wanted my life to be better than what she had as a kid. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. You always want the next generation to have something better than what you had.
Welcome back to TGIF. All right, y'all. Fat Joe is spilling some tea while supporting Young Thug's RICO trial. The rapper said, I've been rapping professionally for 30 years. I've lied in almost 95% of my songs. I'm being honest. I write like I feel that day. I'm just being creative. You couldn't build a jail high enough for the lyrics I've said on songs, which are all untrue. All right, what are your thoughts? And does that take away from the authenticity of hip hop music, Al?
I think, when I think of Fat Joe, I think of him almost like a representative or a spokesperson for the hip hop community. I understand how and what he's saying. It makes a lot of sense because we've heard this, thousands and thousands of times. Unfortunately, though, these prosecutors are taking evidence that they have and it's mirroring what is actually in the songs. And I think that's the difference. If they tried to take the evidence in Fat Joe's cases and try to mirror the lyrics, they would find a disconnect. And that means that there's no evidence. That means they wouldn't be someone that's suspect. Unfortunately, in this case, they are examining the evidence and they're matching it to the lyrics, and that's what's making them become a target. So I get what he's saying, but in these particular cases, it may not be applicable.
That's nice of him to say this and put this out there at his own, putting himself out there to be criticized, to kind of throw a lifeline to Young Thug. That's what it kind of seemed like to me, because it's kind of saying, hey, I'm Cap on some of my songs. And that's kind of like a cardinal rule you don't want to really do in hip hop. So I think he was just trying to throw a lifeline to Young Thug. What do you think about this, Q?
So I agree with what both of y'all just said, and kind of lost a little respect for Fat Joe, in the sense that there's a segment of the Black population who believes that rap music and hip hop music is poison, and that rappers are like drug dealers who put this poison into the community for their own benefit. And there was an argument to be made of early rap and hip hop advocates that these young men are just rapping about their experience and they're rapping about what they see. And unfortunately, Fat Joe, you saying you're waking up and being creative today with this drug dealing and shoot 'em up, gang type of music. But then we've got our young Black men out here who listen to you, look up to you, and they go out and do these types of things because they're listening to this music. So you, in my opinion, you kind of now got to atone for some of this, because you're putting this out there and these kids don't know fact from fiction, and they go out and do it because you made them think it's cool. And then to find out that you don't even live like this, you got a little social responsibility for the fact that you've gotten rich off of pumping essentially poison into our community.
And he just opened up another can of worms, because you know what? If you are telling us that 95% of it is fake news, guess what? You can use that same creativity, gene, and talent that you have to write lyrics that don't reflect the struggle and don't influence people to live like this. Let's get back to that. And I know I'm about to sound old in my 50 years saying this, but we've had this gangster rap, we used to be conscious. Then we were drug dealers. Now we're drug doers. And now we're pushing, you do drugs, do lean. Like, we got to get away from it. If you don't think music is influential, if you don't agree that it's influential to your community, you are out of your mind. Because look at the trends. Jhené Aiko, eat the booty like groceries. Then everyone starts bragging about eating ass when we was embarrassed about that before. Or if you did it, you just kept it to yourself, right? Before, you did not want to be called a hype or a drug addict or a fiend. And now everyone's bragging about Percocets and everything. It's like it's cool, right? And then what do you think these kids in suburbia or in the hood, they're being, when you listen to the same music all the time, you're getting hypnotized. You use certain devices to go to sleep. You're programming yourself. You are hypnotizing yourself. And yes, I don't care if this sounds old. I'm sick of it. Every week, every day, we're reporting on ratchet ass stories. And if you don't think you're a part of it, you're out of your mind, because hip hop is the most influential media to me, I think, because it's not just Black kids, it's white, it's everyone. It's so influential, and I'm over it. All right. Daddy Yankee is not sinning anymore. He is delivered. During his recent concert, Daddy Yankee expressed that he is retiring from reggae and said he would embark on a new beginning as Ramon Ayala, his birth name. He added that all the tools that I have in my possession, such as music, social networks, platforms, and a microphone, everything that Jesus gave me is now for his kingdom. Thank you very much, Puerto Rico, and I hope that you walk with me in this new beginning. What do you have to say about this? We just talked about it. And here we have someone that wants to change it up, but we're going to side eye him now, right? Like, wait, what's this for? What do you think, Funky?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm always going to be an advocate for anybody who's doing anything to fulfill themselves spiritually and to edify their God that they pray to. But, I just find it convenient that after you've made hundreds of millions of dollars, you know what I'm saying, that you can step away now and praise the Lord, which clearly is not going to pay remotely as much as you're doing. And some may argue that ain't got nothing to do with anything, but it is kind of leaving me like, You know, after you don't make all the damn money, now you want to go sing for the Lord. So, you know, but you bought the houses and the clothes and the jewelry with the sinful money. So are you going to leave the sinful money behind and start fresh and only spend the Lord's money? Or are you still going to live lavish off the sinful money and just pray that the Lord don't be mad? But either way, this is not a bad thing. And I do wish that, you know, folks didn't have to choose. It didn't have to be extreme. I don't know a lot about Daddy Yankee's music, but the little bit that I do know from Gasolina and all of that, I don't think his music was vulgar, and I don't think it's anything that the God that I pray to would be upset about. But hey, if it works for him and that's what he wants to do, then I definitely support it.
Dan said from Gasolina to Jesus. All right. Al, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I agree with you. Anybody that turns their life over to God, whenever, whatever time, day, night, top of the career, bottom of the career, middle of their career, I think is a good thing because you're following you're following your truth, and I can't beat them up for that. I always wish, though, that artists at the height of their careers would be more vocal because they could touch more people, but we'll take them any form, anytime in this particular case. But did you guys hear about that big lawsuit that's going on in reggaeton, and Big Bunny is a part of it as well? They listed him. But 800 artists are being sued for copyright infringement because they sampled reggae music and they did not get clearance. So I wonder if he's a part of that lawsuit, because this is a huge lawsuit.
You know, when people leave the music industry or change course quickly in light of all the stuff that's been coming out lately, I think it tells us
coming down the pipeline.
That, or I think like how when Mace jumped out, like when he was popping, I think that they are further adding validity to Cassie's claims about the wickedness of the music industry to make them just change. When people just become born again, change it up, and they're like, I don't want anything to do with that anymore, I'm out. You done been through some things, I think, in my opinion, like you done been abused, you've seen some stuff, you've seen some wickedness, and you want nothing to do with it anymore. Because human nature is human nature. And that's what I always look at. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden you want to switch up. Now, if you started like Al said, or at the height of your career or in the beginning, or if you came in the game with that, all right, that's one thing. But when you switch over, I think you're like, oh my God, like I've sold it enough. Maybe not my soul, but I've seen a lot and I just want, it's dirty. I want to get out of it. Because look at, like, again, Mace, perfect example. The way he left, I know something. I think something happened to him, you know? And here we are. Coming up, find out a man's key to living for over 100 years. Stay tuned.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out.
Stories that we're going to cover come from around the world, around the country. Some of them will warm your heart. Some of them will make you good and mad.
McMillan and Morrow.
There's been an uptick in fights at Disney World.
That's because it's hard to be happy in Florida right now.
Every Thursday night.
Yeah, and you're having a great night at Disney World, Epcot.
How you gonna ban Black history? Here are people go through 400 years of suffering and work themselves to the place where they can become the leader of the free world. That ain't no educational value. I'm fired up.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and like jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him, like he's got to come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with Turtle is a perfect.
Welcome back to the show. All right, a Charleston, South Carolina man recently celebrated his 103rd birthday, that's not him, and gave some free advice on the key to living a long, carefree life, which is simple. He said, you live long if you mind your own business. I guess we'll be dying soon. Are y'all here for this advice? Q?
Then y'all don't took the damn show to 5 days a week. Y'all really don't cut our damn days short. We need to go, if that's the case, then Fox Soul people, we need to go back to 1 day a week because y'all taking off days of my life. It's cute and it's anecdotal at best. We all know that genetics and overall health and stress and diet and all those things are factors. But I definitely think from the stress component, the minding your business could definitely be a factor.
All right, Al, what do you think?
Yeah, of course it is. I like it. He also mentioned, this gentleman worked until he was 99. And he said the key is always keeping your mind stimulated. He was like working until he was 99 kept him alive because it gave him a routine. It was something for him to do. He had to get out of bed. He had to go somewhere. He had to pay attention. He had to be engaged. And I agree with that. I mean, I really do feel like the second that you retire and you just, isolate yourself as an older person, your life starts to deteriorate. So thumbs up with this man right here, and thumbs up for working until 99, if that's the choice that you chose. And this is some good advice. Mind your business.
Yeah, I want to live to be 100. I don't. I've said this to my friends. I don't want to live that long.
You know what's so funny? It's scary. Now that I'm 40, mortality has just really been at the front of my mind and realizing that I'm halfway through this thing. Both of my parents died in their 60s. You know what I'm saying? And if my life follows that trend, I only got about 20-something years left. I would like to live as long as I can, just as long as I'm healthy, I'm agile, I'm getting around, my mind good, and I still got good people around me and things to do. Yeah, I plan to live a long time.
All right. Okay. All right, moving on. Taylor Swift fans are trolling Kim Kardashian's social media page with snake emojis. This trolling stems from the singer reporting that she never received an apology from Kim after she released that private conversation between Taylor and Kanye back in 2016. Al, what are your thoughts on this drama?
What was the conversation? Anybody know? What did she say?
It was about the awards, the whole thing with Kanye and Taylor. I think
when he came up on stage, he said,
Kim was trying to show that Taylor wasn't, I think, being 100% or something like that. It was like a gotcha thing. I don't remember.
What was their conversation? What was the conversation Kanye and Taylor had that Kim leaked?
I can't remember. I don't be following Taylor Swift like that. So I can't name one song that girl done made.
I always say those are 3 billionaires. Let those 3 billionaires hash it out in billionaire lane.
Oh, it was about Kanye using her name in a rap song.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
All right. Q, you know about this?
I don't, and I'm like, Al, that girl just got on the cover of Time. She got billions and billions of dollars. Kim got billions and billions of dollars. Turn your comments off, Kim.
That's right. And Taylor, relax. All right, get into this tea. A non-Black woman shared her perspective on what Black women should do to become a winning race in society. Check this out.
Black women have the best bodies, some of the most beautiful faces. If they just sometimes were a little more soft.
Okay.
They would be the winning race, yo. Like, why?
So why do you think they're not soft?
I'm personally not Black, so I have no idea.
Okay. I think I should go on this one. Ma'am, we would love to be soft, but we don't have the luxury. Broken homes. A lot of times we don't get treated as softly as Latina and white women do by our Black men. So a lot of times we're not hard because we want to. We're hard out of necessity and survival. I hate when they oversimplify this because it's not that simple. Anyone who is nurtured properly and loved on correctly is going to be soft. When you have to survive and you're constantly feeling like you're going to war, you're going to be hard. That is it, ma'am. It's not as simple as you make it. So shut the hell up. That's me being soft because I want to use the F word. I want to thank Al Reynolds and Funky Dineva for doing their thing. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Stay tuned for Street Flavor and have a great weekend. Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one, soulmate.
Good
Be
weekend,
safe. Drink lots of Hennessy.